I have a question for you. Can you love the music but hate the musician? In the metal scene, this question sparks intense debate. Metal as a genre has a long history of larger-than-life personas and sometimes infamous behavior from its artists, from violent crimes to hate speech. A lot of metal musicians have done things that leave fans asking, at what point should you stop supporting an artist? Is it okay to keep listening even when you know they've done something fucking awful? These questions have been discussed and debated for years. Today, we're diving into this very topic, separating the art from the artist in the metal world. We'll explore notorious examples, arguments on both sides, and where fans tend to draw the line. It's an engaging but serious discussion that many metal fans eventually face. So let's get onto it. To ground this discussion, let's look at some notable cases in the metal scene where this dilemma comes up. There are a few metal artists that I can think of whose actions outside of music have been extremely fucking controversial. We're talking about instances of murder, violence, racism, and more. Actions that shock the community and force fans to confront the art versus artist question. How has the metal community responded to these cases? Let's examine a few key examples, and remember, these are intense stories that have profoundly affected the metal genre. So now let's talk about my man, Varg Vikernes, perhaps the most infamous example. He's known for his one-man black metal project, Burzum, and his time in the band Mayhem. So I think it's 1993. Varg murdered Mayhem's guitarist Euronymous, stabbing him to death during an altercation. Stabby McStab. He was also convicted of burning several churches in Norway and for possession of a large stash of explosives. Varg received Norway's maximum prison sentence of 21 years and served about 15 years before release. While imprisoned, he infamously espoused neo-Nazi and extremist views, founding a neo-Nazi organization as well behind bars. Now Burzum's music is undeniably influential in black metal, atmospheric and pioneering. But knowing the man behind it committed murder and promoted hate, many people struggle with whether it's okay to listen to or not. Some fans still praise Burzum's albums as masterpieces of black metal, choosing to separate the chilling music from Varg's crime. Others, however, refuse to support or even play Burzum, yeah fucking pussies, feeling that giving him any attention is morally wrong. This split is often visible in the metal's community's discourse. Varg is both respected for his art and reviled for his actions, making him a prime example of this discussion. Then we got another striking case. It's none other than John Nordtveit, frontman of Swedish extreme metal band Dissection. In 1997, Nordtveit was involved in a murder often referred to as the Killism Park murder. He and an accomplice were convicted for the killing of a 36-year-old man in Gothenburg, Sweden. The crime had overtones of occultism and was described by police as a hate crime or a homophobic hate crime. Nordtveit served 7 years in prison. After his release in 2004, he resurrected Dissection, unapologetically aligning the band with his dark satanic beliefs. This sparked immediate controversy. While some fans welcomed Dissection's return and separated John's past from the music, others were fucking outraged that he could continue his career after such a heinous act. Notably, even fellow metal musicians took a stand. I think Dave Mustaine of Megadeth refused to share a festival bill with Dissection in 2005, saying, "I don't want to be hanging around guys that are going to be fucking dangerous for me spiritually." Dissection's legacy in melodic black and death metal is significant. Albums like Storm of Light's Bane are considered classics. But Nordtveit's crime and later suicide in 2006 cast a permanent shadow over the band's legend. Many fans to this day can't hear those records without remembering the real-life violence attached to them. The controversy isn't just limited to crimes like murder. Sometimes it's about hateful speech or ideology. You got Phil Anselmo, the vocalist of Pantera and the frontman of Down and Scour and other projects, sparked outrage in 2016 after a very public incident. At a tribute concert, I think it was for Dimebag or something, and Anselmo ended the show by giving a Nazi salute and shouting "White Power" from the stage. A fan's video of this went viral, and the backlash was immediate and widespread. Now, the metal community, including many prominent musicians, condemned Anselmo's actions, and he faced massive fucking criticism. Anselmo apologized multiple times, claiming it was a tasteless joke about white wine and that he's not racist, but the damage was done. People are fucking snowflakes, man. In the aftermath, his band Down was dropped from festival lineups, and Pantera's legacy tours in recent years even saw some shows cancelled due to the backlash still lingering over this incident. This case really split Pantera's fan base. Pantera is a legendary band, don't get me wrong, and Phil Anselmo's voice is a huge part of what made them iconic. Some fans chose to forgive or separate this one drunken outburst from decades of music they loved. They argued that Cowboys from Hell don't suddenly become bad because Phil messed up, especially if he's shown remorse. But other fans, and also musicians, took a hard line, saying racism has no place in metal or anywhere, and that supporting Anselmo's work, even the old Pantera albums, felt wrong after seeing him zig heil on stage. It became a big debate about whether you could still crank up Pantera with a clean conscience. It's stupid. The Phil Anselmo saga shows that sometimes it's not a criminal act, but a moment of hate or prejudice that can turn the community against an artist. There are plenty of other examples like that test metal fans' moral boundaries. Got Tim Lambesis, lead singer of metalcore band As I Lay Dying, was arrested in 2013 for attempting to hire a hitman to murder his estranged wife. Incredibly, the hitman was an undercover officer. Lambesis pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 6 years in prison, serving roughly half before being paroled. Shockingly, Tim later reunited with As I Lay Dying and resumed releasing music. Some fans welcomed him back, separating his music, which they enjoyed, from the terrible act he plotted, but many others boycotted the band, unable to support a man who literally tried to have someone killed. It's a stark example. Can you listen to As I Lay Dying bangers like Through Struggle, knowing the vocalist once paid for an actual murder plot? For some, the answer was absolutely fucking not. For others, it was, I love the riffs, not the guy. Another notorious name is Gal of Gorgoroth, who was convicted of a violent assault and is known for extreme statements. Or bands like Inquisition, whose frontman faced child pornography charges. Ouch, Dagon. Both cases leading many to completely abandon the music. Each time one of these stories breaks, the metal scene goes through a fucking familiar cycle. Initial shock and disgust, followed by heated discussions about what to do with the artist's music. These cases from Varg and Nordveit to Anselmo, Lambesis, and beyond set the stage for the core debate. Do we separate the art from the artist, or do we not? So, what are the main arguments on each side of this issue? Let's break it down, because reasonable people end up on opposite sides of this debate. Arguments for separating the art from the artist. Many fans believe that once art, like a song or album, is released, it takes on a life of its own, independent of its creator. The music might mean something deeply personal to you, regardless of who fucking wrote it. For example, one viewpoint is that appreciating the art is a connection between your feelings and the artwork itself. The artist isn't as important as the art. So by this logic, you can enjoy a metal album for its sound, emotion, and the memories it gives you without endorsing the artist's bad behavior. Some also argue that if we discarded every piece of fucking art made by a flawed or immoral person, we'd have very little left. Nobody's perfect, as the saying goes. in the band context, it might feel unfair to punish all members for the misdeeds of one. Take Pantera as an example. Should the stellar guitar work of Dimebag Darrell or the drumming of Vinnie Paul be erased from our playlist because of Phil Anselmo's mistakes? Fans of this might say no. They choose to compartmentalize, focusing on the music itself and what it means to them. In short, they argue that it's possible to love the art and condemn the artist at the same time, treating them as separate entities. So let's look at the arguments against separating the art from the artist. On the other hand, many feel that you simply cannot divorce the art from its artist, especially when the artist's behavior is egregious. One major point is the issue of support. By buying an album, streaming a song, wearing a band's t-shirt, or even just giving them publicity, you are arguably supporting that artist on some level. The unfortunate truth is, by consuming art, you're either directly or indirectly contributing to the artist's success and platform, some fuckhead wrote. In other words, continuing to listen to a band with a criminal or a hateful member might put money in their pocket or help maintain their fame. Morally, that doesn't sit right with a lot of people. Fans in the camp often say that enjoying the art is a form of endorsement. It normalizes or overlooks the artist's wrongdoing. If a singer has, say, abused someone or even fucking committed murder, and we all keep jamming to their tracks like nothing happened, aren't we sending the message that we don't care about the victim? In some cases, the artist's vile actions or beliefs seep into the art itself. For instance, if a black metal band's lyrics are openly hateful, or if an artist's entire persona is built around extremist ideology, separating art and artists becomes nearly impossible. The art is an extension of the artist's worldview. From this perspective, some draw a hard line. They will boycott any artist who crosses certain moral boundaries, believing that no level of musical talent excuses harmful behavior. It's about integrity and ethics, maintaining that one's entertainment should not come at the cost of one's values. So these opposing views create a real dilemma for fans. Both sides have valid points. It often comes down to personal ethics and how each individual listener feels when they hear the music, knowing the backstory. This leads to the tricky part. Where do you draw the line? And where do I draw the line? So there isn't a universal answer. Every fan and every situation is different. Some people can separate the art from the artist in almost any case, like myself, while others have a firm cut-off point. Where do we draw the line? It often depends on the severity of the artist's actions, in my opinion, and on the listener's own moral compass. For example, a metal fan might say, I can overlook a musician's past drug addiction or petty crimes, but I won't support a murderer or a proudly racist person. Everyone's line is a little different. Some continue listening privately to disgraced artists but won't attend concerts or buy merch, essentially saying, I'll enjoy the old albums I already have, but I won't give them new money or attention. Others make a clean fucking slate, deleting songs, selling CDs or vinyls, and never looking back once an artist crosses their personal red line. It can also depend on context. Was the artist's transgression a one-time mistake from years ago for which they've apologized or changed, or is it an ongoing pattern of harmful behavior? Forgiveness is easier for some in the former scenario. On the flip side, if new allegations or bad behavior keep coming to light, more fans will jump ship in metal. We've seen cases where time heals some wounds, an artist lays low, makes amends, and some fans slowly come back. But we've also seen cases where an artist is effectively exiled from the community permanently. This line also varies by community consensus. In some metal circles, certain artists are almost universally shunned. For instance, many metalheads agree that Ian Watkins from Lost Prophets is beyond redemption due to his horrendous crimes, so his music is broadly rejected. In contrast, someone like Phil Anselmo, who apologizes and has supporters, remains a divisive figure. Some draw the line at his behavior, others do not. You might ask yourself, can I listen to this song and separate it entirely from who the artist is and what they've done? If the answer is no, maybe the knowledge makes you feel sick or guilty, then that's your line. It can even be a song by song or case by case decision. Some listeners might boycott one band outright, yet be willing to separate art and artist for another band, depending on the details. It's a deeply personal judgment call, and as new incidents come to light in the music world, each fan might reassess and redraw their line. My line's way up here, to be honest. It's way up here. This ongoing struggle shows just how complicated the relationship between art, artist, and audience can be. This debate isn't unique to metal or even to music. We see this same struggle in other entertainment and fan bases, and one thing I can't separate the art from the artist is none other than the professional wrestler Chris Benoit. Benoit was an extremely talented and popular wrestler, a multiple-time champion known for his technical skill in the ring, but in 2007 he committed an unthinkable crime, murdering his wife Nancy and 7-year-old son Daniel before taking his own life. Now I can't even watch any of these matches because I just think of the family dying. So WWE erased all his legacy, Benoit's existence from future storylines and broadcasts. You won't find him mentioned in highlight reels or Hall of Fame discussions. Yet for many wrestling fans, the question remains as well, what about his matches and legacy before the crime? Benoit had given fans decades of incredible performances. Can those be enjoyed for what they were, or are they now tainted forever? And to me, they are definitely tainted forever. The pro wrestling world still largely recalls that Benoit's name, and his legacy essentially voided officially. But among fans, there's debate. Some say they can still watch a classic Benoit match, like from 2003, maybe against Kurt Angle, and appreciate the athleticism, while fully condemning what Benoit did later. Others cannot bear to watch him at all anymore, and this is me. The horror of his final actions outweighs any entertainment he provided. So I'm a bit on the fence here, to be honest. This mirrors the art versus artist conflict in metal and other arts as well. For example, movie fans grappling with whether to separate actors like Kevin Spacey or directors like Roman Polanski from their films, or pop fans with artists like Kanye West, Michael Jackson as well. In each case, people ask a similar question. Does enjoying the work mean I'm okay with the person who made it? The Chris Benoit situation highlights how complicated and painful this can be. It shows that this moral dilemma cuts across different communities. Whether you're a metalhead, a movie buff, a sports fan even, you might face it at some point with someone you once admired. So, in conclusion, can we separate the art from the artist, or should we? So, I don't know, it's up to you. After looking at all of these examples and perspectives, it's clear there's no easy answer. In the metal scene, the question often comes down to personal conscience and context. The same album can be a cherished masterpiece to one fan and cancelled to another, or because of what the artist did outside the music. What this debate does is force each of us to think about our values as fans. How much does an artist's personal conduct matter to you when you press play on a song? There's tension between our love for the art and our feelings about the artist, and that tension doesn't have a one size that fits all resolution. Ultimately, separating art from the artist is a personal choice. It's your choice. Some will continue to bang their heads to those classic tracks regardless, focusing on the music alone. Others will hit the stop button, unable to enjoy it the same way again. And both stances come from a place of principle and genuine feeling. This discussion isn't about finding a right or wrong answer so much as it is about engaging with the moral complexity of fandom. As metal fans and as consumers of any art, we each have to decide where we stand. It's a thought-provoking dilemma with passionate opinions on each side. So, what do you think? Can you still enjoy the music of a metal artist after learning they've done something terrible? Or is it forever tainted in your eyes or in your brain? I'd love to hear your take on this in the comments. Thanks guys for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this discussion video. Do agree or disagree with my opinion. Keep the discussion going in the comment section below. It's been fun, and I will see you in the next one.